Okay, good afternoon everyone. This is Dan again with Senior Ministry E-Bike Nation. We're on our last segment of the video. This is video number 3, part 3 of 3 videos. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see the trail, and I will see you when we get to the halfway point. We've come about 9 miles right now, and we're going to go 15. So this may be just a little bit longer on the video than the other ones, but I do want to show you the bike and everything once I get up to the 15-mile marker. So this one will be a little bit longer. This one will be closer to 20-22 minutes probably. Or let me know if you guys have ever encountered something like that. I don't care if it's on a bike, in a car. You get a lot of road rage going on, people getting killed over stupid stuff. Yeah, but let me know if you guys ever had problems. And I know I'm going to get people come on the channel and they're going to say they feel very safe out there, and you know, they see what's going on around them, and they better open their eyes, because this is not what it was 10 years ago. Things have changed so much in the last 10 years. Actually, and I'm going to say it, the last 3.5 years since the new administration's taken over. It's just not what it was. So, you know, you got all these people out there that want to abolish the Second Amendment and take away your guns and all that. Well, that's mostly the left and the far left, and the liberals want to do that. But yet 95% of gun deaths and violence is coming from the liberals. And if you don't believe that, look at the facts. So now that's why I carry wherever I go, unless it's in a federal facility or one that don't want you carrying. Now, if it's a grocery store and it's a restaurant and says no guns allowed, I'm carrying my gun in that restaurant. Actually, another good idea, when you go target practicing, I don't care if you're using your handgun or whatever, you always want to keep the target that you used and date that target and keep it. Because if you ever have to go to court over an unlawful shooting or something, you're going to want to have that so that prosecutor can't say you weren't trained to shoot that firearm. Well, when you date those targets and show them those, it pretty much puts that one to rest. And I know this is just a bike channel, I get that, and I don't really like to get on controversial issues, but when I have people come on my channel and they start commenting on stuff, I'm going to defend myself. How you doing? There's a guy I see all the time over there on the left back there. He walks a lot. You got 2 women on bikes here, that's pretty safe. I believe they both had e-bikes, fat tire bikes for sure. So I'm assuming they were e-bikes as well. Coming up on the tunnel up here that's usually flooded when we get a lot of rain, and you can't get through up here unless you want to go over the guardrail up on top there. Of course, we haven't had enough rain lately, so we're okay. I used to see a rooster out here all the time. I don't know what happened to him. But he always stood there right around that underpass there. I always seen him walking around there. Got a series of stop signs that I'll have to stop at coming up here. Even though I never see anybody crossing, I just make it a point to stop at every stop sign. I see too many bike channels, those guys are not doing that. They slow down at these things, but they most of the time, if there's nothing coming, they don't stop. And again, as I mentioned, you would not do that on the road with a bicycle. You would stop for sure. So these are no different. Just because there's light traffic on these bike trails don't mean you can disobey the law and go through it. I mean, they got this gravel driveway up here, goes to one house up here on the left. But it's somebody's property, so he's got to get in and out of his house. Coming up on a speedway up here. A lot of drag racing going up here on the weekends. Usually, it might be sometime today. They're usually Thursday through Sundays is when they race. Our Thursdays typically either running ETs or they're test running their cars. But I'm not sure they got the speedway open right now anyway. They got both gates open, so I'm assuming they probably got that open too. But it's pretty loud up here on Friday through Sunday when you got them cars running down these drag strips. I can stop right on the bike trail and get free admission and watch it from the bike trail. So that's pretty cool. I still hear them little bugs bouncing off my helmet. Yeah, let's talk about helmets. People don't wear them on these bikes either. I see a lot of times guys riding and they don't wear bike helmets. That's just craziness. I have fallen 3 times on my bike in the last 5 years, and I had my helmet on, and it was a good thing on all 3 times. I see it all the time. I guess people feel safe riding a bicycle without a helmet. No, they're not testing or racing today. They got the gates closed to the road, and they got the gates closed up here, so they're not doing anything up here today. But But boy, you can see how quiet this Aerial Rider is. It's got a 750 watt hub motor on the back. It's by far the quietest motor I have on a bike. You just can't hear this thing. Now, the fat tire bikes that I ride, that's a lot of the noise you're hearing is them fat tires. Because they got big knobs on them, and you're going to hear those. I had to change a flat tire the other day before I went on the Zoda. It sat in the garage and got a flat tire. So I put flat out, which is the same as slime. I took the valve stem out of it and then put in about a half of a bottle of flat out, and then I put the valve stem back in and filled the tire back up, and it went 20 miles with no problems at all. And I checked it again this morning and it's still fine. So yeah, a lot of people don't like putting slime or flat out in their tires, but it does have Kevlar particles. And when you put it in your tire, you really want the stem at the top of the tire. As the tire's sitting there, you want the valve stem at the top, because as you're inserting that flat out, it's able to go all the way around both sides of that tire to insulate the tube itself. So yeah, I highly recommend both of them products. It's everybody's preference which one they want to use, but I really seem to like the flat out. I seen better reviews on it before I bought it. Now my side rusher, I had Tannis liners put in, and that's really real thick plastic that goes around the tire, inside the tire. And I've never had a flat since I had those put in either. So those are a couple things that I've done. But if you ride a bike long enough, inevitably you're going to have a flat tire. Now if you get a flat tire in the front, it's not that terribly bad. You can either use some Fix-A-Flat or whatever and put in that tire, and you can get you home until you can fix it. But if you get a tire that goes flat on the rear of these e-bikes, it's a little bit different story, because you got that motor in the way and everything when you go to try to fix that tire. So that's the only downside, having a flat tire is on the rear of these things. Now, if you get a chain brakes or something and you have a rear hub motor, you're going to be able to throttle home. If you've got a throttle, you're going to be able to go home. You don't need to move those pedals on your left. But if you have a mid-drive motor that sits under your pedals, if you break a chain, you're not going anywhere. So that is the advantage of having a rear hub motor. They have rear hub motors, they have mid-drive motors, they have front hub motors. I don't like the fronts as much. Unless you have a recumbent bike or a trike, you're not going to be able to use a motor on one of them bikes. Especially if you do an aftermarket build. And Caleb and I we're going to do an aftermarket build here before too long. As soon as he gets his motor in, we're going to do a live video and a regular video at the same time of him replacing and putting a hub motor on one of his standard bicycles that he owns. So that's going to be interesting to see that. So we're looking forward to that. Caleb will probably be riding with me Monday, I believe. He said he wanted to ride. He's finally got a lot of his schoolwork caught up. He's a junior this year in high school, and he's homeschooled, but everything he does is online. But he got quite a bit behind here about a month or two ago, and his mom, we did several videos together, and his mom stopped him from riding e-bikes until he got his grades up. And I told him, Caleb, it's a lot more important than these e-bikes. but I really enjoy riding with Caleb. I'm 17, I'm 71, he's 17, and if you just reverse the numbers, that's who we are. So since Caleb's been on my channel, he's really changed a lot of my analytics on people that watch my videos. It's going to a lot younger people who are watching the videos now. And that's due to the fact he's younger and he plays different music. If he does a thumbnail on the video, or he likes to do a lot of shorts, which I do that occasionally. But he's definitely bringing younger people onto my channel, and I'm okay with that. It's not just for seniors, but that's when I first started a year ago. That's really what it was designated for, was senior riders and people with disabilities. So I could show them how to ride e-bikes and ride them safely. Now, we did take a couple of the bikes on hill climbing, and Caleb rode them. I wasn't going to get on those hills. But he can do that at 17 years old. So we got a couple of past videos of us climbing hills and stuff on both of my 20-inch fat tire bikes, the Zoda Zephyr and the Side Rusher Komoda. That was kind of a fun day. Like that stop sign back here, I could have went right through it, been fine. But I definitely want to stop at those things. We got about another, I'm thinking about 2 miles to go. A little less than 2 miles. We got about 13.98 on the Strava app. And it's about 15 miles right at it, so we got about another mile to go before we get up to our halfway point, and that's when I'll turn the camera around and we'll end the video and I'll talk about the bike. We're coming up to a little town called Xenia, Ohio. Now this guy right here stands here all the time. He just really likes standing here. He never waves back, but I always wave at him. We're at about 50 minutes right now, and it normally takes me about 55 minutes to get up to the 15-mile marker, so we're getting real close now. And I've been riding pretty consistent at about 20 miles an hour on this Aerial Rider. Again, once we get up here, I'll have to change the battery out, going back so I can, because I can't do all 30 miles on one charge. I know that for sure. So once we get up there, I'll change the battery out and I'll grab a couple quick lunch, and then we'll head back. Got a couple intersections we got to cross here. Usually pretty busy. Even though I didn't have to push the walk sign, I wanted to let the people know that the signal's on for people crossing. Nobody coming again, that's good. This little bridge up here, I see a lot of homeless people up here during the summertime especially. This is where they kind of hang out, around this bridge and down below it. So I'm always on the watch for people around this bridge for sure. Okay, this is going to be our last intersection we have to cross before we get up to the halfway point, which is called Xenia Station. This hub up here will get you anywhere in Ohio. It goes all 4 directions on the bike trail. Yeah, got quite a few cars up here, so we got a lot of bikers out today probably. See some recumbent bikes. Get people getting ready to ride. That little place there is called Xenia Station. So we're going to stop right here. This is our halfway point. We come 14.93 miles, 94. It's right at 15 miles. So, but anyway, let me get off the bike here, and we'll turn the camera around, and here we'll talk about the bike a little bit. Okay, this is the Aerial Rider Rideal. This is a 26-inch by 1.95 on the tires e-bike. And again, I've put about 2,700 miles on this bike. It has got a rear hub motor, as you can see here. And then here's your battery right here. This is a 48 volt, 14 amp hour battery that I have. And it sits right here on the down tube, so when I go to change it, I'll just lift that right off there and put another one on that I carry in my bag. And it's also got Tektro, it didn't have hydraulic brakes, but it does now. So I changed these out to where we have hydraulic brakes on this bike now. Been much better. And then it's got a very comfortable seat that I put on here. It's called a Bikeroo. That's a very, very nice seat. And I put these handlebar extensions on up here too. And one other thing I added, this is called an egg rider. This thing right here increased the speed of the bike about 3 to 5 miles an hour. I just unplugged it here, that went to here, and then this actually is tied into the controller, which is down here on the back of the seat post here. And then yeah, it's really comfortable bike ride too. And then I put on these handlebar extensions up here so I can actually have my hands in 2 different locations for comfort. And I've also got a bike alarm on this one as well. It actually is in the bag right now, but I have a bike alarm with a remote in my pocket. And this bag and these panniers I went ahead and put on this bike. And the rack, it did not come with it either. So these are some additional accessories that I put on the bike. And yeah, it's a very comfortable bike, and it's definitely the most quietest e-bike that I own. And this one says 14.53 miles. That's 14.94, so yeah, we're right at 15 miles. And I put a bar-in mirror on here too. That was the best place for that. Could have put one up here on the handlebars, but there's not a whole lot of room in this cockpit, as you can see. But I do carry an extra battery, and yeah, if you got any comments about it, put it down in the comment section. It's a very dependable e-bike that I ride. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and do a quick lunch here, and then I'll get back on the trail and we'll head back. But anyway, put any comments you have down in the comment section, and then share and like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys on the next video.